that you must take.
You gotta have that mindset that quitting is not an option. Give up? Who me? Never. Stop? Who me? Never. That's for the next guy. That's for the next girl, but not me.
Give it to me like...
History, and I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
I was a lost person. I was a lost soul. I had no hope, no anything. Very similar to
you talk.
very similar to how he was when he was locked up. They can try to say as much as they want, but they are dehumanizing you to make you a machine. Like, I remember going into...
Okay.
Yeah.
That's 100% true, because you look at through history, we've done it.
Mm-hmm.
The Indians were called savages because you don't feel right killing a human.
Absolutely.
It
But a
will
savage, go for
destroy
it.
you.
Yes.
But I can kill a savage.
Absolutely.
You know, like...
And I was taught that very promptly in the military, it's your life versus theirs. So you're fighting this war, but it only takes a minute to say, wait, am I even on the right side?
Yeah.
Like, what is this war
and
about?
what is the right side?
What is right? What is wrong?
What am I really killing you for?
Yes, exactly. So, and I'm very thankful I didn't deploy in that aspect. I'm so thankful, but I had so many friends who come back lost, desolate, because the consciousness comes in.
Yeah.
They say, okay, wow, that little boy with a bomb blew up in front of me. I had to shoot him down before he blew up 3 of us.
Yeah.
So what's better? Like, what's the humanity cause? Is it, am I going to save that one boy or us 3? And that's the same clause. Like, if there's a bus driver and you can save all the kids and that bus driver's going crazy, what are you going to do? You're going to kill that bus driver.
Yeah.
You're not going to disable the vehicle.
It's a utilitarian approach.
You're going to just approach, attack.
It's what we're taught. Save as many as you can.
Yes.
But take out the threat.
Exactly.
And you have no idea why they're the threat.
No idea.
Yeah.
And that's it, unfortunately. And I knew that very early on, so I went to substance abuse. I was like, man, this is not cool. I don't care for this. I don't like this. And really quickly, my downfall in the military was me being there, unfortunately. But so as soon as I walked on those yellow footsteps, I was like, damn, 4 years of this. Okay. But I remember getting out of basic training and going home only for 10 days, because that was my first, out of 90 days of breaking me down and starting to build me to where they want. Before even infantry training, before even learning to kill somebody, they tore you down and made you a unit. You're a number, you're a unit, that's it. So, and you didn't even get ranked, and he knows this because he was in the Marines as well. You're not even a civilian, you're not a recruit, you are nothing. You are scum of the earth, because they need you to be that low.
Yeah.
Because once you hit your lowest, you can reach your highest. And that's what they teach you. So you didn't, until I got my rank, I had 0 worth. 0 worth for 90 days.
Yeah.
And I was like, goodness, this is horrible. And so in there I found church. I was like, okay, here's a refuge. Here's safety. Here's a safe haven. Here's anything I can grasp onto. That was becoming my reality. So throughout that, I was like, goodness, this is rough. And so right when I got out of basic training, they don't tell you you're going to infantry training either. It sucked. I was like, cool, I'm going to schoolhouse. It's going to be awesome. No, we're going to learn how to kill people. You're going to learn how to disable them, murder them, do whatever.
Yeah.
But it's all in the act of war, so that's not murder.
Yeah.
It's your life versus theirs. You're just filling a void. And if you don't fill that void, guess what? The person right behind you is going to fill that flank and keep going.
Yep.
And so through that, I was like, I can't do this. And so when I was overseas, when I was stationed out there, a lot of my friends, I had this gal who I was actually really close with in high school. So we both went to the military at the same time. She was young. We were both young, 19, and she was dating this sergeant, and he was like 27. So he had been in the military for 9 years. He knows he knows it. He's a sergeant. He's a sergeant in the Army or Marines. That's a feat.
You're
honestly.
already taught to seek the higher authorities.
Absolutely.
You're taught to go to these people.
Yeah.
So for him to, for the fraternization to happen.
And that's what it is. It was fraternization.
Yeah.
We were both younger Marines. So
you're seeking his leadership.
And so she sought leadership, comfort, love, everything nurturing that for the last year she's never received because they build you, they break you down to build you up. So after she seeked comfort, they started dating. Fraternization got brought up. So she was like, okay, no harm, no feeling. I'm 19. I'm going to date. No harm, no foul. She leaves, broke this guy. Don't know why, don't know where his mental state was. Nobody would discuss that. He, the next week, went to her command, which was our friend's command, went there, shot her in the head, shot the other guy on duty in the head, and then killed himself with a service pistol. So like in that moment, I just broke down because her mom called me instantly. I was overseas, called me. So it was 5 a.m., 6 a.m. I was overseas. I was like, I'm sorry, but fuck this. Like, where is it at? Where is the disconnect? What's going on? Well, we can't do anything because the problem eliminated itself. Problem solved.
No.
What do you mean?
No. Yeah.
And I was like,
not solved.
I'm like, what about me now? I was like, fuck it, I'm done. So I went the same route I used to escape to. Where can I get drugs? I need to escape in my mind. And that's a weak mentality, and I knew that, but it was what I was comfortable to. So when I went into that escape mentality, all they knew how to do was just, well, now you're on drugs, so you're no longer a number to us. Let's get you out of here.
Yep.
Let's eliminate the problem as much as we can. So I was like, perfect.
Here's the funny thing. Your story, it's amazing because I have my stories similar.
Yeah.
And so I sought drugs as well. But they actually came to me and they asked if I wanted to stay or I wanted to go.
Hi, Bubba.
And so it's go on.
Yeah,
I'll tell you mine afterwards.
Absolutely, yeah. So through that like chaos, I guess, I actually had some fantastic leadership and horrible leadership, thankfully. And unlike what he was going through during that time, these people were actually actively helping. There was this Gunny Kalonopoulos was his name. I don't know if he's probably not still in. It's been 15 years. And he's been there probably for 19 years. He was from Poland. So he already had this different mindset, different mentality growing up that's helping, nurturing, building people up. And through all that, he said, well, what can I do to physically help you? I said, I think I'm just done. And he said, okay, how done are you? I said, I'm ready to go home right now. And he said, you got another year on your contract. Go UA. And I was like, I'm not going to leave. I'm already overseas. I'm like, I'm not going to fly home. That's stupid. I'm going to have you guys pay for my trip home. You guys paid for me to come here. Y'all can pay for me to leave.
Yeah.
And so he's like, no, just go to therapy tomorrow and don't go to therapy. I said, okay. And because I already had this mindset because of what had happened prior. I was already broken, defeated again, already going back into substance abuse. Then I went to the hospital off base. And they had given me medication. It was the naval hospital. So they had given me medication just to try to help alleviate some of these symptoms and just help me numb myself so I wasn't feeling it. That's all they were trying to do. Because if you're numb, then honestly, they can also process you out easier. He's no longer capable of carrying a rifle because he's on this medicine. Yeah. He's no longer a unit. He's expendable at this point.
He's detrimental to our.
Yeah, he's liable to the service.
Yeah, exactly.
So I became a liability, and I was okay with that because I was like, cool, I don't want to be here. And then I went to the Marine Corps office. They had given me medication that altered and had side effects with that medication. So I took them both that day. I blacked out and I was unconscious upstairs in my dorm. And I remember I was on FaceTime with my mom, and I called her saying, Mom, I think I'm gonna die. I don't know what's going on. It was an accidental overdose. It was a miscalculation of whatever they gave me. And there was this, thankfully, I mean, I'm 6'3", I'm a big dude. And there was a guy who was 6'6", his name was Parker, and he was probably 400 pounds solid muscle. Big old gorilla of a dude. And he was on duty that day, and he heard somebody slam the door upstairs, which is me, and I just yelled help twice, and that's all I remember saying. And then he picked me up, because I was on the floor collapsed, and he brought me downstairs. He's like, we need to get him to the hospital now. And he's like, he overdosed. He doesn't know what is going on. Like, it might have been purposeful. It might have been accidental because of the facts that happened.
Doesn't matter.
They thought, oh, you're trying to kill yourself. I said, no, that wasn't even the case. And they didn't let me call my mom. I understand there's a 72 or a 96-hour hold at a psych hospital. But once I finally, came off it, they're like, oh, Navy gave you this, Army gave you this. That should not have happened. And it made me just delirious and black out. And through that, Gunny was like, well, that's technically your third infraction against, he's like, it's not even against you. Nobody's mad. It's accidental, but now you're a liability. Let's start processing you now. And I said, okay, let's do this. He said, okay, it's going to take 6 months. I said, I might as well do my 4 years and get honorable. And he's like, how soon do you want to go out? I'm like, I'm ready to leave now.
Yeah.
So within 2 weeks, we processed out everything. And I didn't go to work. I didn't do my job because I was no longer liable to be here, or I was a liability. And he actually was my literal catapult for me leaving. So he helped me throughout everything. It's like, boom, boom, boom. And he's like, when do you want to leave? And I was like, my birthday is April 6th. I'm ready to go. And this whole event happened right around New Year's. So it was a 4-month stint of, you don't want to be here. We don't want you here. You don't want to be here. Let's get you out. And so I'm very thankful for that, because on my birthday, they flew me out and I was done with my Marine Corps career. But they're like, oh, you have 2 more weeks of out processing to like get you civilian, get affiliated again. And it was just a joke. And then as soon as I got there, me being the rebel I was like, well, I'm a civilian in my mind. I'm going to go get my nose pierced again. Like, I'm done. I'm going to go get my lips pierced again. I'm good. I'm no longer yours. And even after I was being processed out, they're like, well, we technically can charge you for that. I said, with what? Like, come on. Like, I'm free.
Do your best.
Yeah, and through that, actually, some of the unit who did not care saw me as a weaker Marine. I'm totally fine with that. I've come to terms with it. I wasn't fit for it, and I'm totally okay with that. That key piece did not fit that lock.
Yeah.
And through that, they refused to give me my goods and my belongings. So they held all of my gear overseas for 6 months. And I was just, so I had nothing. I just got out of the military. I was waiting for my clothes to come. Just even anything like resembling civilian life. And I was like, are you serious? Like, I want my guitar. That's it. Like, I want something basic just to make the time go by. And through all that, I actually had to call the command, talk to the people who were against me over and over and over again. I had to call at 2 a.m., so it was their working hours. So I was like, look, guys, come on, please help me. And I finally got a hold of Gunny Columbus. Gunny Columbus like, you haven't got that? We shipped that out. And they found out it was at a totally, and they told him to hold it at a different military base until they authorized to release it. And if I would have never pushed, it would have never came.
Yeah.
There's no way it would have came. They just said
surplus stuff that they sold off somewhere or something.
And they're like, oh, we didn't know whose it was.
Yeah, you did.
What do you mean? You have everything of mine. Like,
but it was your punishment because
I didn't fit.
Yeah, you didn't fit.
Yeah. So through that, I mean, the ups and downs and the trials of the life, the choice I made, it just totally took me down a path I didn't want to go down. And I mean, thankfully, like everybody knows, I'm a Christian. My path towards that walk was not a smooth walk. It was a waltz. Like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. And then I tripped going backwards often. So I kept falling. So, and through that, I was like, goodness, what is going on? And I mean, thankfully, over the years, the trials and the turmoil and my choices have slowed down. And I realized, okay, yeah, I am in charge of myself. I'm in charge of my actions, and whatever I'm doing, only I can be accountable for. Yeah. So when I attempted to take my life, why am I being punished for that when I didn't even try to attempt to take my life? I was like, it was a medication that was a misdiagnosis from y'all, and they can't admit that. Why would they admit that? Then I can get full disability. Yeah. They said, oh, there's no way. You must have taken more than you needed to. And like, I remember, this is the one vivid memory I have when I was on the phone with my mom, because I was like going in and out of consciousness and and everything was just pins and needles. And I was like, okay, what is going on? My body's ringing. I'm not trying to get high right now. This is not good. Yeah. And so I just remember going to my sink, and there was the mirror right there. And I just remember looking at it, and I grabbed the medicine just to see if I took too much. Because it was, I'm special. I have to do it number by number. Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I was like,
you have a program.
I'm like, no, this is what I took. What in the world is going on? And then right in there, my mom was still on the phone, screaming for help in the background. And then she didn't hear from me for 72 hours. So what? Imagine what the is going on?
What is going on?
So it so once I finally talked to her, and then she was like, oh my goodness. What is going on? And it was just a back and forth battle for my last year, unfortunately, because again, I wasn't fit, and I'm totally cool with that. And I probably should have never been, but I'm thankful I did. Yeah. It was the opportunity and the life that I got to live. I mean, I traveled all over the world on my own accord. So, I mean, and I got out on my own accord, and just that different mentality. But now I just it was just, it was interesting. It was interesting to say the least, what the higher ups and what the government is training people to do. And unfortunately, a lot of police officers are prior military.
Yes.
So they've all been in the same tear you down to build you back up mentality. A lot of them have been at the bottom of the bottom, so they know what it's like treating people the way they're treating them.
And then they just return it.
They just return it because they've been there and they're like, oh, I survived it.
Yeah. Harmed people harm.
Absolutely. And so, and it's just, and then you do get those good police officers. You do get them. And I thankfully have more positive interactions with police than negative. And I'm also that tool that waves to every cop I get to see who's going to pull me over. And my wife won't let me do it anymore because they always pull me over when I'm with her. And I'm just waving, and I don't care.
You just wave it.
Yeah, and I'm not doing it. I have tattoos. Who cares? I'm waving to you. I probably tattooed your coworker. Like, I'm not a scumbag. And like, there was a police officer in Carterville, and unfortunately, Carterville has the police force it has, and I don't really want to go into that. But one of the officers said, "Oh, absolutely, I profile you because you had a face piercing on your face." And I drove a louder car. And I said, how does that make me a criminal? Like, what have I ever done? I haven't done much. I've gotten in trouble. I have a DUI. I've gotten in trouble for sure. I've done my fair share, but I've also paid for it. I've became a civilian again. I said, okay, that's not me. I don't drink anymore. I realize my course and my actions, everything has a consequence. Yes. And I knew that. But even to have him, and he's my buddy, he said, absolutely, if I saw you driving down the road, I'd pull you over. What does that mean? Like, because I have something shiny under my eye? Like, I have a piece of jewelry? That should mean I'm a princess. Like, what do you mean? Like, I like jewelry, okay? Go ahead and call me gay, so you're going to pull over gay people now, too, because they have jewelry? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
No, it's a built mindset that they're allowing.
It is. And, yeah, there's some officers who have been in this city who are thankfully, I don't believe, no longer here. And we've just had weird interactions with one in particular. And just through that course, like the first day I met him, I was working to build this establishment with my wife. My wife is, beautiful, way out of my league, and I know these things. So I hold on to that. I do. I grasped it.
Yeah.
I said, no, it's not happening.
I understand where I'm at.
Yeah, I understand. I leveled up 5 levels. I should not have been there. So, I know this. But this cop comes, and in his words, oh, I was seeing if you guys were okay. And he's leaning on his car, all hunched over, trying to be sexy, I guess. I don't know what he's doing. Trying to say something, and she's just painting.
Walking to me, asking me who I was, my name, what I was up to, just like in a, like, hey, how's it going type of thing.
His demeanor wasn't
but
that.
It wasn't like a police officer, like, friendly kind of conversation. It was like a flirtatious.
Yeah, and so I was like, and then as soon as I come out, because I'm inside and I hear her talking to somebody.
I don't even want to say his name.
And so as soon as I go out there, his whole demeanor changes. I'm a big dude, I understand that. I'm sweaty because I think I actually just brought in a massage bed or something heavy. And I was drenched in sweat, we were working all day, it was summer. And as soon as I come out there, I probably look pissed. Like, she's talking to this guy and he's like, trying to get to know my wife. I'm like, who the hell is this dude? I'm thinking it's some drunk guy across the bar. Yeah. Definitely not a police officer. I expect it from the bar. I don't expect it from somebody in blue. So if you're gonna, and I was like, goodness. So I got out. I was like, how can I help you? What's going on? I'm officer. And he was like, okay, you can leave now. I was like, do you need anything? And he said, no, I'm here to check on you guys. We're good, thank you. And over the next course of a few months, he randomly stopped by. I understand. Stopped by, and one of our artists, African-American guy, I bought him a truck to help him through this season of his transition. He wanted a new studio, he got kicked out of his old shop, and he was just having a rough go at life. And unfortunately, being African-American, he has a rougher go than my white privilege card. And so, and he understood that, I understood that.
Especially in this area.
Especially. And unfortunately, I bought him this hoopty-ass truck. It was a diesel. We put it on the side of the street, where there's a slew of issues with those signs out there. That's my property, but whatever. And he said, well, why are you speaking to me and not him? Pointing at Matt. I said, well, one, he's my employer. You're in my business during business hours. What is your issue with that vehicle? It's been sitting there for a day. What is your issue? And he said, well, I need to talk to him about it. I said, the fuck you are, dude. I'm sorry. You don't need to talk to him. He said, well, why not? I said, we're in rural fucking America, and he's an African-American man. You already don't fucking like black people. He doesn't care for you personally because of how you treat him. The fact you came in here with a biased opinion towards him.
Yeah.
Because you knew it was his car.
You knew it was his car. And
I said, granted, if that car's in the wrong spot,
we can move it.
Can you move it? You don't need to pull him outside to speak to him. That's not necessary. He's already uncomfortable.
Yeah.
His brother was either wrongfully or rightfully sent to prison. He has this in his mind. He has this fight or flight mentality. As soon as a cop came in, he started shaking.
Yeah.
Because he was taught that at a young age. You respect authority because they can take you out.
Yep.
And so he knew that growing up, and he's half black, and his mom is as white as a ghost. His dad, unfortunately, was black as black. So he's this dark complexion guy, but you can tell he was born in this diversity, in this split. And I can tell the 6 months he was here. I understand why he was drinking. I understand why he was fearful of police. I understood way more than I was taken granted. You know,
still waters run deep.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot behind why these people aren't talking. There's a lot behind why some of these people sit back and look stoic.
Absolutely.
Because they've seen a lot. Because they've already been trenched out.
Yeah.
The river trenched them,
and
now you've got this deep lake.
Yes, that's right.
And that's the truth of the matter.
And unfortunately, you can't get healed until you get back into that deep water.
Yep.
And because so often when people are drowning, all they do are reaching and grasping. Sometimes you need to go to the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you need to get to the root. You need to get to the cause. And for me, unfortunately, it was my youth. It was my upbringing. It was my choices again. But it was also what was given to me.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't ask for it. I didn't, I didn't put any of that. What?
Laura's fine.
Oh, okay.
My sister.
Your sister?
Just that reaction.
Well, he understands, I think.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
It's a situation.
But it's come from our upbringing.
It is.
And the difference between her and I is I'll sit here and I'll tell you, I'll lay it out for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me one bit. I'm a flawed man. I know it. I know that I've been flawed for a long time, but I can tell you about it.
Yeah.
I mean, like your story of joining the military, mine's a lot the same, except for mine was right in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't hide it. Did I feel like an outcast? Of course I did. But you know what? I was still the same guy that people wanted in their foxhole because they knew if shit was going to go down, who do you want next to you? You know? Yeah. So they love it when you're that person.
Yeah.
But then they hate it when you're that person.
Absolutely.
Too. Because they love that you're uncontrollable and you're wild and you're gonna take the risk that's gonna save lives.
Yeah.
But then at the same point, you're also the guy that's gonna take that risk that could destroy lives.
Yeah.
That could.
Because if an order's coming from up and it doesn't make sense,
I ain't gonna do it.
Absolutely. And that's how it always was for us. I said, no, I'm not going out there. That's stupid. I'm sorry. Like, you're dumb. That's not happening. Like, there was one instance when I was in Japan. We had those Osprey helicopters. You know, the uplifting ones that flew out.
Yeah.
Really futuristic. I mean, they're dumb. The mortality rate's 100%. They're stupid. You go over water, mortality's 100%. It is dumb.
You change the density of the thing that we're blowing on.
Yeah,
you're gonna
die.
Yeah,
and there's nothing to do with it. So in Japan, it's weird to have them. You're surrounded by water.
Yeah.
So these would go off and blow up 5 miles offshore. But then the civilians and these locals are like, what the hell is going on? So they are furious. Furious because, it blew up on the beach. Only 4 casualties. only one of them was a civilian. What do you mean? Like, so just through all
that
that.
one meant a lot to some people.
Exactly, and it didn't to the military because we're just numbers.
Yeah.
And we're replaceable. And like, oh, we got 7 more coming this week from California.
More people are signing up.
Yeah.
Everybody's signing on the dotted line. So until people stop signing on the dotted line, and then they're like, oh, what do we do?
And then so it was funny, like the whole thing. They're like, oh, you're gonna go out there and patrol. I did not go out there and patrol. I said, I'm not gonna stop them from being pissed off at the police for this. I'm not gonna stop them. And then on the flip side, there's military members who go out and do nefarious acts, like rape a local, do this thing, and then the military's so quick to let's get them out of the military judge, let's get them out of there and pull them in ours. Like there'll be actions.
Not holding them accountable in front of the people.
Exactly. No, let's cover.
Yeah.
So, and I remember there was one instance where this girl died, and so the guy was locked up for 1.5 years, rightfully so, eating fish heads and rice. That was his punishment. That's what Americans got. He said, no, you are now a prisoner of war, out time of wartime affair. So, since we were supposed to be on our best accord, they made an example of him, and I was so thankful. Like that's what the base needed, because once one bad apple falls off the tree, rottenness can't go around. Because if you have a dead fruit in a bowl, what's going to happen to the rest? It's going to rot.
Yeah.
But once you remove that chunk, life can build again. And so it's just...
You can show people that this isn't acceptable.
Yeah,
but
when
we
you
don't have
cover
rotten fruit.
Yeah, but when you cover it up, what's it going to do?
Yeah.
It's just going to perpetuate the instance, and it's going to keep going, and it's just going to go. It's like until somebody else rapes somebody,
yeah,
and then they
it's
kill
like
somebody.
An abscess.
Yeah,
we would actually help other people, and we would build people into what we should be instead of chasing the dollar. We've given the dollar everything, and we chase this dollar as if it's God.
And unfortunately, it's like the 1% of people that own the world. You know what I mean? People don't realize what BlackRock is until you look and see what BlackRock is.
Do you want to know the scariest thing? Have you ever
$15 trillion in assets? It might be an issue.
Have you ever looked up Luxembourg? It's a country in the middle of Europe.
Yep.
The only thing they export is finance. They're a country that does finances. This is where your Rothschilds. This is where the people that actually own the world live. I mean, there's a treaty that was signed before, at the time of our Declaration of Independence, and I can't remember what it is, but within that treaty, it says that things will carry, that the laws and everything that were before the establishment of the United States shall stay in effect. We were still ruled by kings and queens. It's just they put a president in charge of this area. So we have the illusion of freedom, but we've never truly had it because they've owned our dollar. They've owned everything.
Well, it's either Nixon or Ozark right up the street. Per capita has more banks in that town than any town in the United States.
Really?
I want to say there's like 57 banks, population like 1,500. Look it up. It's ridiculous.
How do they?
Jesse Ventura, the old wrestler, did a whole thing. There's like a secret big castle thing out in the middle of nowhere down there and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, so I mean, he's the one that put it on his site.
Really? Okay.
Just I'll check Jesse Ventura on YouTube and type in maybe Ozark or Nixon, one of the two.
I like checking out Jesse Ventura because a lot. I mean, if you check the stuff that he says.
Yeah.
He consistently comes back with he's telling the truth. Mm-hmm. And some of it's so crazy that you're like, what? I mean, it's like Chris Kyle, the American Sniper or whatever, yeah. and all the BS that he put into the book that Jesse Ventura goes through and shows you, like, he never sat on top of the freaking Superdome shooting people. That never happened.
Right.
He never punched Jesse Ventura. And then people were upset saying that he's suing his wife after Chris Kyle died. No, he was suing the ownership of the freaking book. He was suing that they're making money off of this when this guy was telling untruths. He was lying to the people to make money.
It's kind of like, I haven't watched any of the debates, but I've watched some clips. Is it Ramaswamy?
Yeah,
Dude, that guy don't give a fuck.
Oh,
he says how it is.
I don't know how.
Like,
That dude.
He's like, that was made up. That didn't happen. They did this so we'd get into basically a civil war, hate each other. They don't want us to. They're like, they don't, and that's the God's honest truth. They don't want we the people.
No.
They want blacks to hate whites. They want the whites to hate blacks.
George
If there was a
Carlin.
we the people, we would already overthrown the government, man.
Oh, dude, George Carlin
the
said
truth.
it years and years ago that they don't want well-informed and they don't want people using cognition to look at situations. They want you to have as little information as possible and follow what they say.
And how do we get?
It's called TV programming. The program review.
Well,
It's
like how
an
do we get- When I was growing
indoctrination.
up, these reporters had to verify their source. Now they can just say whatever damn lie they want,
That's what
try to make us believe it.
That's what I'm sitting here to do.
Yeah, it's
is
just,
I came to interview this guy who's faced charges and stuff because I was just telling him, like, just a month ago I started looking at it, and I've had issues with Shannon Becker for a few years. You know, he'll delete people's comments, he'll block people, he'll do stuff like that. This is journalism.
Yeah.
You know, how do you block people when it's journalism? And you're trying to say, don't take my First Amendment rights away, but then you're doing it back to people that aren't even, they're just bringing up a different point than what you're trying to say. They go and talk to the police, but they don't ever talk to the people. There's no investigative journalism around this area. There's none.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, hey, I got a few people that watch my stuff. I'll go out and start talking to people. I'll start recording things. I'll start showing what's really happening out
And
here.
you know, I've
so
thought
that
that for a long time.
How's the mindset
And
being set built?
I've known Kevin had it for a while, and they'll tell you, it's black or white with me, man. There's no gray area. You know where you stand with me, and that's, you either like me or you don't. I don't give a shit. But you're gonna know where you stand with me.
Yeah.
You know? And
That-
I'd rather a hand, you know, I'm the type of guy's, a handshake's gotta mean something to you. If your word's not your bond, bye.
Yep.
You know?
That's
You gotta
just-
surround
No,
yourself
your
with
second
good-
appointment. You shut your mouth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, your second appointment with me. Before I even knew you. Mother trucker.
All right, well,
That's why Heather's his artist.
guess you can make that lease payment to somebody else, Kevin.
No, there's a lot to be said for that. So,
How are you married to him, Heather?
yeah, I
He keeps
was,
me stable.
For the money.
I just give him an outburst.
Kevin,
You're about an outburst.
If it wasn't for our wives, we'd be in prison.
That's absolutely facts.
oh
facts
man,
right there.
There's a lot of
My
shit.
wife's
Because
like,
of my ex-wife that I'm probably going.
That's same thing with my wife. The thing that kept me out of prison is my wife and children, because I didn't give a fuck.
I'm Chris Moore, by the way.
Barry Winfield.
Barry Winfield, okay.
Yeah.
I own a karate studio next door. So
Okay.
That's what I do. And
Cool.
my wife's got a hair salon up the block.
Cool.
Me and my fiance were just talking about the karate studio and
Yeah.
how it might be good for our kids.
Yeah, shit, I got my black belt 98. I'm what they, I got promoted last year to what they call a C-gun, which is the highest teaching title in our system. So, been doing it a fat minute. I think I'm gonna do it about 2 more years, Heather, and be like, I'm done. Get too old.
I did taekwondo, and I have to say that's one of the one things that I remember most about my childhood that I like absolutely loved. So
And the thing is,
it's
these kids are so fucking soft nowadays.
they are.
And that's the God's honest truth. I mean, I've got a little girl that's 11 that I teach. I'll let her beat the shit out of me. For the simple fact, a woman just needs to have the mentality that she's not going to beat the shit out of the average guy on the streets. She's going to have to get violent with him. She's going to have to stick him in the eye, hit him in the throat, rip an ear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got 2 daughters that are 15 and 20. And the worst thing a karate instructor can do is be like, yeah, you kick that guy in the balls, he's going to fall down and you
Yeah.
do whatever to him. Well, most guys, when they get kicked in the balls and adrenaline's going, they're like, oh, that sucks, and they keep going. You know what I mean? That's just, it is what it is.
If you came to fight,
Yeah,
you know, I mean, I've been in a lot of street fights.
yeah.
And I've had people full on just grab my balls and just hold on to
Yeah.
them while I'm fucking piss pounding their face
Yep.
because it's the only thing that they could do.
Yep.
You know, and I don't stop hitting them until they let go. Till I feel their hands stop.
Yeah.
I don't stop hitting you.
I teach
until-
all my students like situational awareness. I don't give a shit if there's a stick there or a ball bat. If you're a female, grab the sumbitch and hit them. You know? Grab them and hit them. There's
Grab-
nothing fair about a street fight. If you've been in a lot, you know.
Dude, there's
like-
no rules.
No, I will bite your nipple off. I don't care. You know?
There is zero rules.
It's like these guys like, I got him in a headlock. Okay, that's good. I'm going to bite the shit out of you right here too. Have at it.
You know that. Yep, you got to teach people to, situational awareness, like you said, because they don't know what they don't know.
No.
And
I mean,
you don't
simple
want
things
them-
like when you walk in a restaurant, where's your entrance and exit points? Don't be sitting with your back to the door if you're the guy that running the family, you know? It's like...
Or if you do, look at faces.
Yeah.
Like, that's my thing. If I walk in, everybody's sitting already, and I'm sitting with my back to a door, I'm watching faces because I want to see
That anyways.
Yeah.
I'm always just like.
Or do you want to wait?
looking
I mean,
around.
it's not red anymore.
See, I grew up in an abusive household.
Yeah.
So
Try it and see.
when you grow up with abuse around you all the time, you start to watch for those things. You know, like I gotta watch his face because he can pop off at any minute. So then your situational awareness becomes heightened. So you
And
notice these
it's different if
things.
you was raised poor as shit. Like I had an outhouse in my backyard. When I grew up and started working and stuff, you're not gonna take my shit away from me. I didn't have anything growing up, you know? So that's why I spoil my kids like we do. It's like I didn't have that growing up. You know, I want my kids to have, you have to give your kids the tools to be successful in life. And when I say that, our youngest was on American Idol. They flew us to Los Angeles and she sang in front of Luke Bryan, Katy Perry, and Lionel Richie. So that was cool. She was 14.
Yeah.
She's 20 now, and our youngest, she plays snare drum. She got the best Yamaha drum we could buy her, you know? So
Here's
that's the thing, you just gotta be supportive.
How old are you?
47.
47.
Yeah.
I'm 43. I think one of the big differences, like, we're right at the end of the baby boomers.
Yeah.
Kind of right at the end of Gen X and
Yeah.
that area. And the baby boomer era seemed to still kind of keep the roots of the Depression era.
Yeah.
Where they were like, keep everything, don't let anything go, don't
Right.
do all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then our generation kind of seen like, mom and dad, why are you saving that piece of shit that ain't gonna do anything?
Yep.
But why aren't you investing your time into me and giving something to me and get rid of that damn thing and get me that thing? So then our generation kind of switched it to where we go,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna give my kid every opportunity to fail. That's it, you know?
Yeah.
Because if I give you every opportunity to fail, you're gonna figure out you aren't good at these things. And you're going to change it and you're gonna try something else. Okay, you're trying that. Okay, you aren't good at that? Good. Let's move on. What are you going to do now? Take a chance. Keep doing it.
You know, I always tell people you should learn more from your failures than you do your wins.
Oh my God.
I mean,
Failures
you gotta
always teach
yeah,
you more.
You should make that objective into an opportunity. You know, somebody says no,
Yeah.
rejection. Make it into an opportunity.
You'll never be successful. I love it when people tell you you'll never do something or things like that.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I won't.
Yeah.
But at least I'll know if I try.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, so that's my failure. Now I can get up and I can try again. I can get up and do it again. Hey, I'll keep going. It doesn't matter. Till you die, why not?
Yeah.
Till you die or you succeed.
Well, either way, you're still
way.
going to keep going.
My
Because
brother-
even if you're successful, what do successful people do?
Yeah.
Once you have this success, then you spin off into different successes.
exactly.
Because now you know how to do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think I have more respect for somebody that has money and is wealthy that can teach other people how to be successful and wealthy. And it doesn't have to necessarily be money, you know.
No.
I mean, to me,
Actually come.